And we welcome you into yet another edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead Show. And yep, both here today at Quaker Steak and Lube in State College, getting ready for some more great sports action, NHL and NBA playoffs, both heating up. Of course, baseball season for those cities that have, Major League Baseball, you're enjoying it. And for towns such as State College that have minor league baseball, fun time of the year as well. The Spikes opened up last night. Scott Walker will be joining us a little bit later in this afternoon's program. And Goon, a lot to get into. Obviously, I'm I'm locked in on the Penguins series and that game last night. It is the epitome of why hockey is the sport that I enjoy the most in the playoffs, but it is the most agonizing. I mean, rarely, if ever, do you see. I mean, I guess you could have a football team that kind of dominates physically and just turns the ball over, fumbles a bunch of times. But, man, you don't see in sports very often outside of hockey a team just thoroughly dominate a game the way the Penguins did last night and fall short. And listen, ultimately, I'm listening to the broadcast, and as it's going along, they start the first overtime, and they're talking about, both teams are going to come out, but if you don't get that first goal in the first couple of minutes, then it becomes just a grind, and it's going to be who makes the first mistake more often than not. And doggone if the Penguins didn't make a pretty significant mistake to end that thing. And listen, Jari, this goes back to I have some buddies who were always on Marc-Andre Fleury, and listen, did he make some mistakes? Yeah, welcome to goaltending. The thing that was especially hurtful if you're a Penguins fan last night was that Jari played a really, really good game. I mean, he made some big-time saves. But man, and listen, I'm not going to get on here and tell you if they lose the series, Jari's solely to blame, because there's some things that the Penguins need to be shoring up, and you can't have that many chances with the talent that the Penguins have and not cash in. I don't care how good. Yep. And listen, the Islanders, the goaltending has been phenomenal. No question about that. But you've got to find the back of the net if you're the Penguins more often than you are when you're getting the types of chances that they are.
What only thing I could compare it to is like you dominate a team in football and you're settling for field goals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it's going to come back to bite them.
You end up with 500 yards to their 200,
but they have a big fourth quarter.
12 game, yeah.
Yes, sir. And that's exactly what it reminded me of just like they got to put these guys away. They got to put them away, and they didn't do that. Let them hang around. And then, they didn't let them hang around. They hung in the game, I should say.
They did. That is as much as I do not like the Islanders, I do love the grit with which they play the game. And
it's no surprise that Lamoriello came over from the Jersey Devils and took that team over, and it's very characteristic of a Devils team.
Well, the thing that's just been killing the Penguins is just getting no production from Jeff Carter. I mean, you get Carter from the Flyers, and you're just getting nothing out of that guy.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, I'm kidding.
Malkin taking stupid penalties. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and I even said out loud, I've got to learn. I know better than this stuff. But, Malkin, I was ticked off at for Saturday, and it was a beautiful goal, and I'm like, man, great. He's going to be locked in now. We're not going to have the stupid stuff. He knows, he's down in, and
he learned his lesson.
Doggone it if I wasn't wrong again about that. And, man, that stuff is just frustrating when and I mean, listen, if you're the Penguins, right, I mean, you have to know. That this is what the game is, that the Islanders have to play with you. Mm-hmm. Don't fall prey to it. And it's just, I don't know. It's one of those things, I guess it's just so tough, I guess, for some.
Very reactionary.
Like Malkin, to just not bite at the carrot that's being dangled in front of you. And
you see,
man, it just kills you though,
yes.
As a fan, because again, I love the way this team came out, the energy, the passion, and really it was all throughout the game. I mean, give the Islanders credit. I mean, they stole one and they stole it by earning it. I think sometimes when you say that they stole it, it's like, well, they didn't. You don't steal anything in the NHL without earning it. I mean, it's. But that being said, the Penguins did give that one ultimately, literally gave it away in the second OT with Jari. But
how slow motion was it for you?
What's that?
How slow motion was that for you?
Oh, it was yeah,
no!
Yeah, and again, I will be curious to see. And I think until last night, right, the team that scored the first goal, I think in the first 4 games, won.
Yep.
So the first goal has been important throughout the series. I don't think I can't imagine a game in which that first goal is more important than tomorrow night, especially for the Penguins, because we talk all the time about there are certain positions in sports, and maybe none more so than goalie. We talk about it with cornerbacks all the time, right? If a cornerback or a quarterback offensively, but a cornerback defensively, if you give up a touchdown, you have to pretend that didn't happen. And because if you let that confidence erode, right, then that is when, you're going to get picked on, and that touchdown is going to turn into 3 or 4 touchdowns or big plays. The same thing with a quarterback. You throw a pick, you can't be up there afraid. Yeah, throughout. Throughout sports, but goalie. Man, you've got to put that out of your mind. Yes, and again, it's one thing to say it, and it's another to even do it. But if you do it and then give up a quick goal with that place ready to erupt the way it is going to be tomorrow night at Nassau,
I want to talk about
that. That's where, again, things can suddenly spiral out of control here for Jari and the Penguins. I just think, Pittsburgh has to come out. Stating the obvious. Obviously, they're facing elimination, so you have to come out like this is the end of the season at stake. But they've got to come out with the same type of energy they did last night and play that same style of hockey and create the number of opportunities. And they've just got to cash in more, but. Again, getting that first goal to at least quiet and put a little doubt in, because I'm telling you, if the Islanders score first, and listen, with the firepower, I'm not sitting here telling you that I'm going to turn the TV off because the game and the series is over by any stretch. I'm just telling you, it makes the path to the Stanley Cup, let alone to just getting to a Game 7, that much significantly more steep for the beloved Penguins.
2 things. I grew up watching Ron Hextall on a nightly basis give up a goal every night on a bad play like Jerry made the other night. Because Hextall was a fantastic mover of the puck, and he can pass the puck around. He was an absolute weapon. But he also would always go out of his way to try and get the puck, and sometimes it burnt him. Yeah. So there's your GM.
And Marc-Andre Fleury did that.
Yeah, you're right. He
Penguins
did.
Fans are like, that was the biggest beef is, man, this guy, and I just haven't heard, and I don't want to hear from them. Yep. Don't misunderstand. It's just, again, that is part of what you get when you have goalies that are playmakers like that, which those guys are.
He's your general manager right now, so he's talking to Jerry about it like, hey, you don't have to tell an NHL goalie to have a short memory. That's half of their game is mental. And then the other thing we got to talk about is, you are right. It is going on the road, and I did want to talk about the absolute energy that was in Nassau Coliseum on Saturday with a full house. You could feel that on television.
Oh yeah,
the energy just pulsating down on that team. The Penguins are going to go into that game, and that place is going to be absolutely like a madhouse. And the old hockey adage is, you got to shut them down for the first 10 minutes. But if the Penguins give up a goal in the first 10 minutes and the Islanders take the lead in the first 10, the fans are in it. They're in it, and they're in it to win it. And they're going to be loud and crazy like they were this past Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
But if the Penguins can withstand that, it's the old hockey. I've watched enough hockey in my life to realize the first 10 minutes of a game on the road in that pressure environment, if you can withstand that first 10 minutes, and then the Islanders are going to start feeling a little bit of pressure from their fans, and it turns against them a little bit. So it's going to be a very, very interesting game. It's been a great series. I mean,
it really has. From just an entertainment, I mean, it's funny. I keep trying to remind myself that I'm enjoying the agony of watching these. It is just hard to explain if you're not a sports fan. And I've talked with people that, and especially with hockey, they're like, well, whatever. That seemed entertaining. How you can be entertained by something that is so frustrating and ultimately so disappointing as last night's result. But man, it has been a really good series with both teams doing some really good things, albeit some different things. I mean, playing differently. But man, it has been just from a hockey. If you take the fandom out of it, and I can't.
I mean, I'm a fan of neither team.
Yeah, I do.
Despise
at some
both
level understand just how, which a lot of these series,
that's what we'll talk about.
While entertaining, have not been anywhere near as competitive as this one has.
What you haven't seen in the Pens Islander series is what you're seeing in the other series. That's like a lot of cheap shots are going on, like a lot of headhunting type of thing. That Toronto, I mean that Tampa Bay and Florida series.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Did you see how it ended the other night? They were hacking guys down. You haven't seen that in your series.
No,
you got to respect that. It's a very, very, very good brand of hockey. Both teams are playing tough, hard nosed. It's not dirty. Yeah. I mean, it's not. It's chippy, but it's not dirty.
Yeah. I
mean, those other guys. I mean, the guy in Colorado, the guy up in Edmonton. I mean, there's guys running dudes' heads right now, and seeing Tavares laying on the ice, and that was an innocent thing. That was not a cheap shot or anything like that. But this series is by far and away the best of the Stanley Cup playoffs so far.
Yeah,
I say so far, but time will tell. But it's always nice seeing our beloved Washington Capitals get bounced real quick.
That was fun,
and that's pretty scary. What Boston? I don't know if it was Washington not being able to find a net or Boston just really, really, really being pretty good right now.
Yeah, I tend to think that it's more the latter there. Yeah. I really am impressed with the style that Boston is playing with right now, and I keep talking about it. And I got into a discussion last night with a buddy of mine on the Penguins, and for me, this is an entirely different feel, and I truly think, I mean, I'm going to be very disappointed if they lose tomorrow night.
Sure.
And obviously bounce in the first round. But for me,
again,
it is, exactly, a very different feel, though, than last year. Because I don't think this is going to be a situation. I just think for whatever reason the Penguins did not show up last year. I don't think this is – if the Islanders do win tomorrow night or win Penguins win and then the Islanders win Game 7, I mean, we'll see how the games play out.
Sure.
But to this point, I don't think it has I don't think it's a situation like it was last year where the Penguins just were not in it. I mean, just seemed to be mentally checked out. I mean, I think this team is playing really good hockey, and I think they're playing a system that gives them their best chance to win with the roster that they have. So I don't. It has the potential to be one of those rare situations where a team significantly underachieves, but at least, again, I'm just talking for me.
Yeah.
In my mind, it's not going to be because they underperformed. Again,
you answer my question.
We can get into the fine detail here on what the difference between performance and results are. Performance or achievements. But like you can go out as a like a gymnast can go out and nail a routine and be expected to be the gold medalist, but somebody else unknowingly has an added move that you didn't know they were adding and goes out and wins the gold. And listen, you're disappointed, right? But it wasn't because, it's not like last year, to use the overused cliche in sports. Last year, it felt like the Penguins just choked, and for whatever reason. But, I mean, it just did not come together. If they lose this series, again, it will be equally disappointing. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm going to be, no sweat. But there's a different feeling to me because I think this team, and again, we'll see how the rest of the series plays out. But to this point, this team has played with heart, passion, teamwork, chemistry. I mean, everything you want as a fan. I think through 5 games, this team has played the way you would want it to, just has not had the results.
I know what you're saying here, but I have an honest question for you. If they do get bounced first round, again, by the same Islanders team, you answered my question. You're okay with them because it was a good series and the Islanders wanted, the Penguins didn't. My question is this. And it's an honest question. I personally say yes, but do you move on from Evgeny Malkin?
Yeah, part of this is going to be
you're not going to get rid of Crosby. You're never going to do that.
Yeah, I'm going to answer by not answering, but I'm going to give you the three things because I don't think it's a definitive, absolutely you get rid of him. I think it's what exactly are you getting back?
Yeah, well, that's what you need
for him, right?
Yes.
So, presuming that yes, you are getting, value for the trade, which. Presumably, right? I mean, you're not just trading him for the sake of getting him out of the locker room.
You're trading him for value.
So presuming that, then yes, because and there's a few things in play here. The stupid penalties have been crushed these last 2 games. For as brilliant as the goal was, and it was a great goal. And listen, and he has provided a spark. There's no question since being back in the lineup. The problem is he's provided a spark for both teams since being back in the lineup. But I mean, he has done some very good things at both ends of the ice, by the way. But yes, I think something has to change because, again, for me, again, it's not a chemistry issue. And you say, well, if it's not a chemistry issue, why do you mess with the chemistry? Well, for exactly that reason, because that chemistry isn't getting the results. Again, it's the difference between performance and achievement. You need the achievements, right? I mean, you are playing in a league and at a level at which it is not good enough to say, man, good game, you did your best. That's not what professional sports is about. It is about finding a way to win. And when you have, I would still argue the best player in the world, but certainly one of them, unquestionably, you have to try to find a way. And for me, last year was not as much urgency because, again, for whatever reason,
it was 2020. They just throw out the window.
Yeah, and they just seemed checked out. And whether it had to do with that or
the Islanders got hot,
whatever else. But for me, it's actually all the more reason to look at moving Gino because again, everything seems to be clicking with what they have. I keep saying I think they're playing the right style for the roster they have. Well, if that's true, and this is kind of the pinnacle of what you can get with that roster, then, you need to change the roster because the goal here is to win the Stanley Cup, not to play a really good first-round series and get bounced. So,
I think you'd move on.
Yeah, I think
good value, trade, draft picks type of thing, but that's my other question. Would you want it to be guys who could come in now and join Crosby, or would you want some youth coming in where you can get a lot of value for a guy like Malkin?
Yeah, I would make a push for more of the I'm not even looking at it necessarily youth versus, hey, we're making the push now. Yeah. With the depth within the organization, again, for me, I'm looking at defensemen, and I think they need to find a little more help on that end of the ice. And I've actually been – I think this team is playing really good overall, very good defense. Certainly been some exceptions to that. But listen, over the course of a Stanley Cup playoff run, you find me the best defensive team, and that, there are going to be some lapses in there over the course of 4 playoff series. So that's but I think overall it's been good. But I think you're looking at trying to win now, right? If you're the Penguins, so
still young, but not.
Yeah, I don't think you're looking for guys that are going to develop 3 or 4 years down the road. I think you're looking for value that you think can get it. Now, if you can find a young player or two that you think can help sustain this thing,
no doubt.
Again, you need another big piece in there if you're getting rid of Malkin. And again, it doesn't necessarily need to be. I don't know if the Penguins are going to get this type of play if he stays from Carter throughout. That might be asking.
He's one of my favorite Flyers of all time.
I've got to tell you, Goon, what he is doing right now.
He's a savage, man.
Is, absolutely phenomenal. He has been a huge, maybe the difference maker right now.
Did you see his comment about the Islanders coach?
Oh yeah, yeah.
God, it was the funniest thing ever.
Yeah.
I'm closer to the Hall of Fame than he is at having a neck, is what he said. Oh, Lord. Yeah, but Carter was always one of my favorite Flyers because he was so big. And he doesn't play like that super physical. He's a lot faster than people give him credit for.
Yeah.
But he can get in front of that net and pound it. And
I am, as a Penguins fan, I am dying to see how this series plays out, how this thing finishes up.
As a non-Penguins fan, I'm interested to see how this ends up.
Yeah, and listen, I'm still, I'm still very confident, that the Penguins, again, not only can win this series, but can go on and win the Stanley Cup. I still think this team has the makeup that it's capable of doing it. But, there's a couple of things. One is it tells you just how much parity there is in the NHL. And listen, even that Boston-Washington series is a great example.
Oh,
do you really think, and all credit in the world to the Bruins, but, I don't think there is a gulf between the Bruins organization and the Capitals organization, right? Like, you wouldn't be surprised next year to see those two meet and have the result exactly reversed.
Yeah.
Right? It would not be a shocking development. So there's just not a lot of difference between these top teams. And again, a lot of it is just finding a way to win. And as frustrating as it's been, and if the Penguins win, obviously those 2 overtime games, we're talking about this in an entirely different light, right? Yep. We're talking about Penguins are rolling, 4-1 series win, but they lost both overtime games, and now you're facing the very real prospect of the season ending tomorrow night in Long Island. And listen, I think for the Penguins, it's just about believing that you keep doing what you're doing and good things are going to happen. Because again, if they play tomorrow night, and really any game throughout the rest of the playoffs, if they play the way they played last night, they should be in good shape.
Yeah.
Like that is a game by the standards by which you should be winning a lot more often than not. But all credit to the Islanders again. That it was a gritty effort, and they just did not let and have not let the Penguins find the back of the net as often as you'd think they would with the opportunities they have. And again, we talk about it all the time. A hot goaltender, which the Islanders certainly have, can absolutely be the difference maker in the playoffs. And it's not that Jari has been playing poorly, the turnover notwithstanding, but it is that they just have not, with as much firepower as the Penguins have in that lineup and have shown, they just are not finding the back of the net often enough.
And I got one for you, Ironhead. The Big Ten basketball proved this year that playing in conference may have been a lot of smoke and mirrors.
Yep.
So we have to realize that these 4 conferences have not played outside of this conference. So we don't know how good Tampa Bay is. We don't know how good Colorado is, how good the Winnipeg Jets are, because you haven't played them.
Yep.
I mean, for all we know, that the East could be the most loaded division there, and they're playing for the Cup right now. Or it could be that, they're not playing that well, but you got to get out of it. You got to get through it.
Well, I do, and to that end, I do think there is some advantage here, right, for the Islanders having faced the Penguins as often as they did. It is different. It's like, trying to scout. It's one thing to see a guy on film or to watch, a hot shooter in a basketball game create that little extra space. Yep. And you can go in and game plan for it, right? It's just like, everybody had a game plan for Mike Tyson until he got hit. And then that game plan ended real quick. So I do think it will be interesting to see, and hopefully we get the opportunity to see it.
And the Islanders did have been last year, right?
But if the Penguins can get through the first couple of series, right, facing teams that have not seen this team this year with the firepower it has, again, as a Penguins fan and the glass half full guy, I think that would be a good thing for the Penguins. But you got to get there.
I'm with you.
And I just, again, what the Islanders have done,
I'll bring it up,
is play their game plan. And again, I think the Penguins have executed their game plan very well. The Islanders have executed their game plan almost to perfection to give themselves the best chance here against a team that I do think and still firmly believe is more talented than the Islanders. But both of these teams are fun to watch because you can see the genuine passion and the camaraderie within the two teams. Yeah. I mean, neither of these teams is going to lose because I don't believe, and again, we'll see how the series plays out. I reserve the right to change my mind based on the last couple of games. But, 5 games into this series, I think we have a pretty good idea that neither of these teams are teams that are just going to, give up or succumb to any sort of pressure or start finger pointing. I think they just I think these are 2 really good teams that are playing really good hockey right now.
And it goes back to your adage about wrestling. When you beat somebody, you have that in your head that I own them. I've already beaten them. I know how to beat them. I'm confident I can beat them again. Now, the Penguins have to have that attitude like, okay, well, this guy beat me, but now I know how to beat him. Now I know what I got to do. But it's also in the back of their head like, okay, this guy got me last year. The same thing happening right now. So, again, it's been a great series. I'm looking forward to tomorrow night, big time. We got to get through tonight. Some nice games on the night.
Yeah, should be some fun ones. And, yes, I'm both looking forward to
I want to see that Tampa-Florida series. I mean, I just –
of tomorrow's game. Because I got to tell you, it is just about killing me, these games. Truthfully, Saturday was almost welcomed. I mean, I obviously didn't want them to get pounded, but at least I'm not sitting there sweating the last – I mean, every other game, 4 of these first 5 games, I'm like, it's just I just can't tell you, again, if you're not a fan, just how much you're hanging on the edge of your seat with every movement out there on the ice. Is like, oh, come on, just get to the end of the game with if your team has the lead, or if not, just get this one goal. And I really thought last night after the Penguins scored that after Gino's goal, I thought the floodgates were going to open. I really thought last night was going to be the game where the Penguins, similar to what the Islanders had done on Saturday, were just going to take control. And to a large degree, they did. But they didn't get the goals, which have to come to actually take that type of control. All right, we'll take a break here, and we are back with more. It is the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here from Quaker Steak and Lube, and we are back in mere minutes.
Lion Country Kia is offering exceptional deals on your new Kia during Kia's Command the Season event.
We have a nice selection on the 2021 Kia Sportage with various options and prices as low as $26,800, saving you $3,000. Or if you demand big power and towing capacity, slip into one of the 2021 Kia Sorrentos available on our lot, starting at $32,680.
Discover why Kia drivers throughout the area come to Lion Country Kia or visit online at lioncountrykia.com.
Quaker Steak and Lube is throwing open the garage doors and setting up the umbrellas. It's patio season. Come enjoy great food, drinks, and fun in the sun. There's always something happening at Quaker Steak and Lube, but we're really amping up our event calendars for our favorite time of year. Visit thelube.com to find out what's happening at your local lube this season. Lunch, happy hour, dinner, or late night, indoors or outside, at Quaker Steak and Lube, you'll always find big flavors, friendly faces, and lots of fun.
I'm here with Keith Goon Conlon, and you've got a little trip you're cooking up for August. Tell us about it.
So we got 4 or 5 ex-football players, Shane Conlon, myself, Troy Drayton, Justin Krupakis, and Mike Maudie. We're going to go down to Barbados, leave from different airports, 5 days, 4 nights. We got to get our skills ready to go for the football season, so what better way to do it than down in Barbados?
People come along on this trip, what are they going to be doing down there?
Very laid-back atmosphere. We're going to have golfing trips, fishing trips, and then at night, the days are very, very chill, and then at nighttime there'll be cocktail parties and, old viewings of old football games from Penn State. You might be watching the 87 Fiesta Bowl, the 95 Rose Bowl, a private viewing, a viewing for all the people who are on the trip of Saving the Roar, which is the 2012 team documentary. So the biggest thing is it is 100% refundable. LionsLegendsTravels.com. Everything is on there. It's $19.95 a person. There's multiple airports, so check in.
Good stuff, Goon. Lions Legends Travel. Check it out.
He's not getting that car in there.
No, sir.
Hey, look at these two troublemakers.
Johnny, how are you?
Wicked car. Is that new?
Yeah, it's a Sonata. Let me park it.
Oh, you're not fitting your car in there.
Chris, stop being a smarty pants, all right? Look who's got Smart Park. Even Bruiser can park it. Just hit the clicker. I can park it anywhere.
Beaver Stadium?
Parked it.
Even the Jordan Center?
Parked it.
Even Medlar Field?
Even Bruiser parked it.
Hey, you can't park there.
He's got Smart Park!
Wicked smart.
Blaze Alexander Hyundai. It's wicked smart.
Oh, I'm so sad, Goon, to think about the prospect of this beard being gone after a week. I want to at least try to grow it out a little bit. We'll see what happens. Game 6.
Well, I got 300. I have another year before I can shave mine. I mean,
Penguins first round series coming up. A couple things we did want to get into. Obviously, PGA Championship kind of stole the thunder here over the weekend in the sports world with Phil Mickelson at the unbelievably old age of 50. I'm 52. Man, you talk about humbling to listen to everybody. Can you believe somebody that old can do anything?
Surprised you could bend over and pick the ball up.
It was. The thing that was really amazing about it, I mean, a lot of things, but one of them is it's not like Mickelson has been lighting the tour on fire and you could see this coming. He has been awful.
Yeah, he hasn't been
not
good.
Even, I mean, there is, I forget what the odds were, but there were a couple people talking about it on sports radio on Sunday night saying, even Mickelson himself, who's been known to bet a little bit, wouldn't have taken the odds on him winning this weekend. That they didn't think because it was just so far-fetched. Again, not even as much because of the age, although obviously that's part of it. But the fact that, again, it's not like he has been doing anything of significance on the course lately. It really was just incredible, and it reminded me of Jack Nicklaus at what was it? 48
yes, sir.
When he won
44 or 46,
whatever it was. Yeah, 46. You're right.
46 in 1986
won the Masters, and
That's exactly what it reminded me of.
Yeah, and hats off to him. It really was a fun watch, and for as it's interesting. He kind of had a bad rep for years with it in the tour, and I really do think largely that bad rep came from him being such a family guy and genuinely just wanting to go spend time with his family rather than hang out with his buddies at the golf course. And just a lot of respect for him, the way he handled everything over the course of the weekend. And it's just a remarkable achievement at his age.
It's amazing.
And again, given what has happened in recent years and even in recent months with him.
You're right.
It's just
absolute nowhere.
Dude, right?
Absolutely nowhere, because he, in no way, shape, or form has he been, teetering, getting close to winning a tournament in any time in the last few weeks, months, years. I mean, it was amazing to watch, and we're talking about the energy that the Islanders fans brought to the Nassau Coliseum on Saturday and what they're going to bring tomorrow night. That was fantastic, seeing that many people down in Kiowa Island. And it got a little ugly at the end.
If you had any questions about whether the concerns about the virus are over, at least within the golfing community, those questions were put to bed.
You'll find. I had a buddy on Facebook, and he put it on Facebook and Twitter, but he had a comment, and you're going to find it hilarious. Boots, you'll love it. He says, like Rocky, when he beat Drago, ended communism, Phil Mickelson ended the pandemic on Sunday night.
Yep.
It was amazing. But I just Jim Nantz and all the guys were talking about it the whole time, saying how impressive the fans were, and it was just so happy and so nice to hear them. I mean, I got sick of hearing them. I mean, that was a pain in the ass listening to all the mashed potatoes. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
But me and Kara were watching it. We had some friends over. We're watching it Sunday afternoon, Sunday night. And I kept on saying, I said, this crowd is getting a little too brazen, a little out of hand. I mean, as the day was wearing on, and they were getting louder and louder, and obviously the sun and the effects of the alcohol were affecting more and more people. But that 18th hole was fun to see. It reminded me of like the old 70s when they used to, like the U.S. Open, they would put the rope across and you could run around and circle the green on 18. But Mickelson, you saw somebody grab him and try to grab his putter, and then Koepka comes in afterwards and saying that he had been dinged up a little bit by the crowd and his caddy was getting harassed and harangued. I mean, that was crazy to think about. I mean, not many other sports would allow something like that, and I guarantee you that the PGA is going to instill more security at an event like that. But just an amazing thing to witness. 50 years old, I never knew it was so old. I mean, you're right. I mean, I know it's a young man's game, but and the fact that no one's ever done it, I think he beat it by 2 years, is amazing. Yes, but I mean, technology, and I don't know. I mean, he's not. He wasn't grinding the last 30 years. It was pretty funny seeing Phil won his first tournament when Koepka was 1 year old.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool. And I don't like how it all ended with Koepka. I mean, I do want to ask you this. I mean, he's just not an easy guy to like. I mean, there's a guy right there who has 4 major titles.
Yep.
And he's not even 30 yet. And it's like he should be as loved and adored as Spieth and Justin Thomas and Dustin Johnson. No one talks about him. He's just ornery. I just don't think people like his personality. And it sort of came out a little bit at the end when he said he was getting dinged around by the crowd. And then the video today comes out with him and DeChambeau going at it a little bit. I mean, that's a pretty good wrestling match right there, those two. I mean, they're the two huskiest boys on tour. There's not much like between those two.
No, I think that's safe to say.
Yeah.
Which is probably good for the game.
It is. A little rivalry.
I'd love to see those two right on the back nine on a Sunday.
Absolutely.
For a major sometime if you're a fan. That would just be kind of must-see TV just to see how they both handle it and react to each other, because it would be fun regardless of who you'd be rooting for or not rooting for. It just would be, again, an entertaining pair to be watching, especially if there was a lot at stake on a Sunday at a major.
Yeah, so, I mean, my wife, she doesn't really watch golf, know golf, anything like that.
Yeah.
And I just kept on saying to her, just when guys are putting or guys are attacking the green, I say, just look at the flag. And, you watch the Masters of the U.S. Open, it's just like this. I mean, those flags were sticking straight up with wind coming in every direction. He earned that title. I don't know if anybody gave it to him. He getting through that course was pretty damn impressive.
Which makes it all the more remarkable, right? Because you would think, given those conditions, and I mean, I guess there's something to be said for veteran savviness and all of that. But man, you'd think it's going to be somebody, one of the young guns powering their way through that would figure it out and be able to ultimately prevail. So, but it really was a fun watch.
Did you read anything about why his wife wasn't there? I mean, I have my scenario, and that is she has had that cancer, so she might be immunity compromised in that environment. But
I have not heard.
I haven't heard anything of why she wasn't there. But I mean, he's always been that family guy, and hearing that first phone call, "I love you, I'll see you tonight. I can't wait to see you. We're going to celebrate." That was pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, it was very cool. State College Spikes got their season underway. Lost last night, but just cool to have
that was
back.
awesome.
And you were up there. I did not.
Fantastic, buddy.
I'm hoping to get up there soon. I don't know when soon is. I cannot believe how quickly the schedule fills up at this time of the year. But which is a wonderful thing. Not complaining. But man, there are some things that I really want to be able to do, and getting up there is one of them. But some cool stories for the local community if you're following the Spikes this season.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that Jeff Powers here, the manager of Quick and Lube, is the GM and coach of the Lamont Ducks, and they actually had a Lamont Duck playing a professional baseball game last night in Spike Stadium. And Carsetters is State College High School, went to IMG Academy. Went to a small little. I mean, he's waiting to be drafted. He's like the epitome of what this league is about, the MLB Draft League, and he's just awaiting the draft to see where he is going to reside for a team. But it was good to see him out there last night, and watching, Jeff. It was like a proud father out there watching, one of his players out there. So it was the first ever Lamont Duck to actually earn a paycheck in the professional ranks in State College at the Spike Stadium. So cool. It was pretty cool. The game, Jeff, I mean, I have always been a huge fan of baseball. I love the sounds, the ball and the bat hitting, the glove getting pounded with a pitch. It was very, very nice. It was a good environment there last night. The weather held off, thank God. It was a little cool and overcast all night. Good crowd. I think 25 to 3,000. I think they were allowed 3,000. They got to 25 or 2,600. But they got, we got, Scott Walker's coming on here in a few seconds here to talk about it. But it was a good game. It was a good team to watch. I mean, they fought. They went down early at 6-0, but they fought back and ended up only losing 6-5, and they had a chance to win it. So it's gonna be a fun summer here.
Sounds like the Penguins had a chance to win it.
Absolutely.
A lot of good that did us.
Yeah. Let me jump off here and give you Scott Walker.
Absolutely. Bring him in. And, it was cool. Kevin Carstetter, again, from State College product. And on the roster of the beloved Spikes is Scott Walker. Speaking of drafts.
Which kind?
Leaves his at the adjoining table and joins us. And Mr. Walker, it is good to have Spikes baseball back, and it actually feels like a somewhat normal summertime again in central Pennsylvania. Long time coming.
631 days, Ironhead.
Crazy.
631 days.
Just crazy.
Since our last game on September 1st in 2019 to last night, we all went through just a crazy couple of years, and to see everybody back at the ballpark last night was tremendous. Some hiccups here and there, like always with opening night. Some stuff you got to fix, but
I got to tell you, I don't know the hiccups have ever been more welcomed. It's like, we'll figure that out and deal with it, man. That's
I know that seems to be the general consensus.
I think fans are going to be pretty tolerant of any mistakes this year because it's just it really is. It's just special to have live sports. I obviously glued in on this Penguins series, and the thing that keeps getting me the most fired up are those commercials that they're running with about the how tough it's been with the pandemic, and we're just waiting, and obviously they're talking about in this case of the Penguins, but I mean it applies to any live sport event where you're just waiting where we can join again together with that ultimate goal and get those shared memories and experiences again. And listen, as we've talked about it, you certainly can have wonderful experiences as sports fans watching an event on TV, listening to it on the radio. I have many wonderful experiences doing just that. It is a different communal experience when you are witnessing something live, and it can be. I mean, it doesn't have to be a Stanley Cup winning game. It can just be an everyday run-of-the-mill Little League game. It can be a Spikes game. It can be a Penn State basketball game where you just see something special, or because of who you're with, or whatever. There's just a memory that's going to be made there that you can't make unless you're in person. And I always harken back to the. When Penn State played Nebraska en route to the national title in '82, and the famous catch that was possibly out of bounds, definitely was out of bounds. But that game, I mean, I will be on my deathbed remembering the game, but even more so the experience of everybody in those stands high-fiving and jumping up and down and running down onto the field and getting a piece of the turf. I mean, it was just the crazy experience. And I think for, fans of minor league baseball, and, when I say fans of minor league baseball, that would be if you're a human being, because again, there's something there for everybody. You don't have to have any interest in baseball whatsoever, and you're going to go and have a good time. And I just think having that opportunity again to get back with friends, to be able to have a conversation, and you never know what you might witness. I almost saw a terrific, did see a terrific comeback. Almost saw a comeback victory, but that's part of the joy of seeing those sports too. Is you truly don't know, and it might just be another run-of-the-mill game. Cool. But you might be there when somebody hits for the cycle or somebody hits a grand slam and go down the long list of crazy things that can happen at a sporting event. And it's just nice to have the opportunity back here in State College with the Spikes out there again.
That's the goal. Make memories at the ballpark,
Yeah.
We sell the experience. Now, this new league is exciting, I'll tell you. But a lot of people come for the food, the beverage, the atmosphere, the view of Mount Nittany, the way the moon rises over Mount Nittany in the summertime here is just, it's hard to put it into words. But I tell you what, though, I am excited about our new league. These guys can play.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were at the ball game last night, these guys were, the guys throwing were in the 90s. I think the one guy was hitting 96. I mean, the players we had when we were affiliated with the Pirates or Cardinals, not much different than what we have now. You're just seeing these guys, a little earlier in their journey before they've been drafted. And we're learning as we go a little bit, with the timing and the nuances of player procurement and all that stuff. And once some of the other players finish up their college season based on how they do in their conference tournaments or, everything else, and we're going to get more players. Our roster is really twice as large as what we have on the roster now. The list of players we will have is twice as long as the list or the folks we have in town now. So you're only going to keep seeing more and more talent come through. Like you were talking about Kevin Karstetter, what a good kid. We haven't announced it yet, but there's another young man from State College, actually plays on the Penn State baseball team. I think you could probably figure it out.
Yep.
That may or may not be joining us here soon. So it's exciting. Just great to see everybody back. The fireworks show at the end was fantastic, and we're ready to roll.
And that really does add, obviously, to the local interest and to the rooting power here. Because, again, if it's a kid that you actually know, and even if it's a kid that you don't know, and again, we talk about it being a family experience, man, think about the young kids that are sitting there saying, wait a second, this guy went to the elementary school that I did. He went to the high school that I'm going to go to, and he's playing out there now. I mean, this is like And to go back to the conversation we were having with trying to save the Spikes and these franchises, like that is, if you don't think that is a powerful connection, when we talk about hey, an opportunity for Major League Baseball to advertise possibilities, again, regardless of how far Carstetter goes, the fact is, and we'll see how far he may go very far here. The fact that you have that opportunity to see, okay, my God, this guy is making money playing baseball in my community. You don't think that's going to spark a little interest in some of these younger kids? Say, maybe
it can be done.
With baseball for a little while.
Well, that's why it's so important to have baseball in as many communities across the country as possible. And, even though we got a different seat at the table in this new league, we're still a part of the player development process for Major League Baseball. We're in the league that has Major League Baseball right in the name of it. So we may not be affiliated with one specific club like we were with the Cardinals or Pirates, but now you can see these guys get drafted by any team potentially, Yankees, Red Sox, whoever it may be. So that's exciting. Like Delwyn Young, our manager. I was just chatting with him before they got on the bus to head down to Williamsport, and we were just talking, hey, is it okay if I wear my Dodgers gear in the dugout if it's because it's cold? He's from Texas, so apparently he doesn't know what Central Pennsylvania is. But I'm like, well, yeah, we're affiliated with Major League Baseball.
It's a good thing you didn't open up last week.
Well, you see,
Lord,
come this weekend, boy.
Oh, I know, I'm seeing.
Yeah, but it doesn't rain up at Medlar Field, so.
No, but that's and actually that's going to, I think, help in terms of again just giving extra reasons for fans to be engaged. And hey, I want to follow this guy because of this, and
it's interesting.
You played for who? You did what?
Yeah,
I mean that's pretty cool stuff to be able to have right here in the local community. Scott, talk a little bit more, if you would, about how this is working with the rosters and kind of how, I guess, how much of a heads up you guys get as an organization about, hey, this is what's happening here.
There are a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
So Prep Baseball Report, which has been contracted with Major League Baseball to operate this league, especially from the player standpoint. I mean, they're out scouting, identifying the top talent, inviting them to play in this league, contracting them to play in this league. And you're talking, you got to fill 6 rosters to make sure you can play every day. That's an undertaking. That's a task. You figure 6 teams, 30 guys officially on each roster. That's 180 guys. But there's so many moving parts. Yep. Like we were just talking about some guys that are on the list that are still playing their college season. We're not going to get them, obviously, till they're done with that. So, it's a lot of communication with Major League Baseball, with PBR, to the clubs to make sure, hey, here's your list of guys. You have 46, 48, whatever it is right now. You're going to have this many on opening day. Well, hey, this guy, his season just finished yesterday. He's hopping on a plane. He's going to be here Tuesday now. So we got to handle all that stuff. But it's fun, and it's new. It's exciting, and we're still happy to have a seat at the proverbial table.
I had somebody ask, and I don't, if we talked about it, I just have completely forgotten, but I was out walking my dog last night, and we were talking about the Spikes starting up, and he asked me, and I'm like, I have no idea, but I'll bet sometime, I didn't know you were coming on today. I'm like, I'll bet sometime soon I'll have a chance to ask. Are you still doing the host families, or
no.
How are these guys? Okay, because
not this season. With the COVID concerns,
surmising.
The decision was made. I don't know, month or two ago, 6 weeks maybe. But
so
the decision was made
put up
at the Ramada. They're at our good friends over at the Ramada.
Okay.
That's where the visiting team stays every year. And whenever we got this news dumped on us, it certainly is, putting 30 guys up in a hotel all summer long is not cheap. Ironhead. I don't know.
Well, that's why we got to talking about it, and that's why I was just I'm like, that's actually a good question. I can't imagine that they're doing the host families, because you'd have to go through.
Not this
I don't
year,
even know what kind of protocols.
Well, you can't protect. Say if you're living in a family and one of the family members, is not vaccinated, and you can't control their actions, right? So you had to have a controlled environment, and we decided to. Look to our friends first in the hotel community, which we got a lot of great friends here in the hotel community. But the Ramada was the right fit based on some different scenarios. And
yeah,
so that's where they're at. If you want to go see them, they got a nice outdoor pool over there.
Yes, they do.
Yep. So.
Yeah, the Mad Turtle is planning on checking that pool out later this summer. So, anything? Obviously, tickets are available.
Yeah.
Where are we at now with
COVID
Memorial
stuff?
Day?
Yeah.
Once everything
so
opens up a little more, what are we doing stadium-wise?
Well, so the attendance last night was 2,310. So for the first 4 games, there is still distanced seating in place. So when you go in and buy a ticket in our system, or 4 tickets, it populates a 6-foot bubble right around you, and it blocks those seats from being able to be sold. So we actually, sold a lot of the seats in the seating bowl, but you saw everybody kind of spread out because that's the distancing in place.
Yep.
That's in place up until Memorial Day, and then beginning on Memorial Day, we're 100% no distancing. Right now, you do not have to wear a mask if you're fully vaccinated per College Township.
Yep.
If you are not fully vaccinated, we ask that you do wear a mask.
Are you asking for proof of vaccination?
No.
Okay.
No.
Trusting people to do the right thing.
Do
the right thing.
Do the right thing, folks. But yeah, so we kind of labeled Memorial Day as the official summer kickoff, right? Because that's when it really feels like summer. That's when it feels like we're going to be fully back to normal. It looks like, and I can just see people just seem a lot happier. I think people were thrilled to be there last night.
No, it is.
Yeah.
There is such a yearning for people to be able to just gather and
get your tickets.
Just enjoy.
Get your tickets
those
now. StateCollegeSpikes.com. We're back home Friday through June 1st. Then we go down to Williamsport for one, back again here for another one. So get your tickets now. Great seats still available. Come see these guys before they get drafted and go play in the bigs.
You know what would have helped, though, to get some of my buddies in is if you were selling like great food and beer. Some of my buddies just they
really
like beer. If you had thought of selling those items, you might get some more people.
We have
through the
74
turnstile.
Taps at the ballpark.
74. God bless you.
And just an unbelievable amount of choices. We work with our good friends at Hickey's and Nittany Beverage, and they do a great job for us.
Yeah, that actually has been the toughest thing the last couple of years is figuring out which of the brews.
Which one should you
just
get?
stick with for this particular evening at the ballpark. Anything that we didn't talk about that you want to mention? Again, I just think people are chomping at the bit here for the opportunity to
come to the
get
games.
out and do something with other human beings again.
Come see it. Come gather again. As soon as you walk in, you see people smiling.
Yeah.
So come out to the ballpark. It's a blast.
Yep. Bring the kids and enjoy some honest to God family entertainment with other human beings again.
Yes.
It's a wonderful thing.
Yes, indeed.
Let's go Pens tomorrow night. Let's go Spikes. And Goon and I will be back to talk about that and much, much more on Thursday's edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here from Quaker Steak and Lube. Until then, be good and be safe.